Back in the early 2000s, have you ever wondered the following questions? What is Ariel's child like? What if Quasimodo actually found love? And how is Mowgli's life in the man village? Wait, nobody asked those? You're telling me that everyone was satisfied with the happily ever after our idols had gotten, but Disney decided to make sequels nobody asked for money reasons? Yes, exactly. Disney sequels, midquels, and prequels have only existed to lure people with the nostalgia bait to get money. And 64 years later in 2006, Bambi became the unfortunate victim, and it's the farthest Disney would go back, it seems. Well, they tried with Dumbo, but maybe they didn't do it for good reasons. Bambi 2, or Bambi and the Great Prince, is rather a midquel than a sequel because the timeline takes place after Bambi's mother dies and before he grows up into a Simba-like character. So before we talk about the really good, the really bad, and the no uglies of the film, let's jump straight into the plot. The movie starts off straight after Bambi's mom gets killed. The Great Prince of the Forest, who I'll just call Prince for short, is voiced by Patrick Stewart, while Bambi is now voiced by Alexander Gold, who, according to my sister, played Nemo in, well, Finding Nemo. Prince comes to the realization that he'll have to be a father and care for Bambi, but after spring arrives, his job as a parent isn't going so well. He can't even feed the poor thing.
A prince does not woo-hoo.
Bambi then reunites with Thumper, who's now voiced by Brendan Berg. But Prince doesn't want Bambi hanging out with the lower class neighbors and drags him away. However, he realizes that he can't take his kid to the bar with him and decides to let Bambi play with his friends. Bambi reunites with Flower, voiced by Nikki Jones, Pauline, who's voiced by Andrea Bowen, and a new bully character named Rono, voiced by Anthony Ganem.
It looks like I scared the right out of him.
After everybody leaves with their mothers except for Bambi, Bambi has a dream and then wakes up to hear what he thought was his mom's voice. In the end, it turns out to be Hunter's. Fortunately, Prince shows up and saves him, but scolds Bambi for not running away. Fearing that he'd bring dishonor to the family, Prince plans to leave Bambi on someone else's doorstep. Bambi, meanwhile, feels that he's not living to his father's expectations and wants to be brave, which results in him getting his ass kicked. But after provoking Prince Charming from Shrek and jumping off a cliff, Bambi wins his father's approval.
Anyone can make that jump.
The two have a father and son bonding, but Prince still wants Bambi to be with someone else, and this time for Bambi's happiness.
You speak
I
to me.
wish Mother was here instead of you!
See? Happiness. Thanks to Rono the genius, Bambi's replacement mother gets caught in a hunting trap, and instead of running away, Bambi leads the pack of hunting dogs away from her and gets killed. All witnessed by Prince, who mourns at the loss of his son. Surprise! Bambi is alive and was faking it to get a reaction. It's then weeks. Weeks? A month? I don't know. And Bambi is starting to grow his antlers. We get another Rono mess up in this nice tribute.
Twitter-pated.
What's Twitter-pated?
Well, I'll tell you when you're older. Twitter.
What's Twitter?
Bambi and Prince then head off so that he can tell him how he met his mother. It's a story no child needed to hear. The end. So let's talk about the movie. I've seen my sister watch this numerous times, and I just simply assumed that she was a sequel kind of person. I mean, she watches Rio 2 and The Incredibles 2 before the first movies, so you can imagine how stupid I feel right now, because Bambi 2 is kind of better than the first. Now, I'm aware that throughout history, there's a dozen cases of sequels and prequels that are pretty golden, Lion King 1.5 being the diamond example, and Shrek 2 being the netherite example. Bambi 2 was obviously targeted for a younger audience, judging by its sort of kiddish add-ons. I mean, we got a fart joke and a school bully. Now, clearly I'm not going to enjoy it since I'm almost 20, but I can say this, how they limited the fart jokes was shocking, especially for a 2006 Disney sequel. 2006 Disney sequel. The only gross-out humor we get is Flower farting, which provides importance towards the end. Which, getting onto that topic, it was kind of ruined because it was dragged out way too long. Rono, who looks like a deer version of Kovu, kind of gets obnoxious story-wise despite being a threatening obstacle. I like how it foreshadows him being this horny deer from the first movie, but whenever he's on screen, especially talking, I can't help but look away from my screen, realizing how intriguing a blank wall is. The weakest part of the movie was Bambi's death scene. It happened so fast and it's over in like a minute. And guys, it's a midquel. Obviously he survived, otherwise we wouldn't see him get Twitter paid in the first movie. However, Bambi 2 did this much better than The Little Mermaid, Ariel's beginning. Prince's grieving is much more believable and likable than King Triton's. He even says, "I'm here," the exact words his mother said in Bambi's dream. Prince is the best character in this movie with the inclusion of his character development. In the first movie, he's sort of mysterious and not much is known about him. In here, however, we actually get to watch him grieve over his wife's death and be forced to be a father. He's pretty hard at times and wants Bambi to live his way, even going as far as to plan on leaving him with someone else because he just doesn't want the responsibility. But after spending time with his son and forgetting his reputation, he slowly changes his mind about parenting until Bambi brings up his mom. And then Prince goes back to his original plan, but this time because he felt that he couldn't provide the happiness Bambi needed. Guys, this is a Disney sequel. They actually took the death of a minor character that was never brought up again and used it to provide a compelling story about father and son. I'm as speechless as you guys. That "We Will Be Together" sequence was my favorite part, and if you didn't smile in any kind of way, you should probably get yourself checked out. As for the other characters, Bambi, Thumper, and Owl are great, and it feels as if the writers worked off of nothing but the first movie. I love the tributes and references they threw in, like the Twitter-pated topic. Flower actually has more screen time, and Pauline has a personality now. I think that's all that's left other than the songs. Like the first movie, there's about 4 of them, but one of them actually has the character singing it. As always, I'll be ranking them from worst to best. In fourth and last place is Let's Sing a Gay Little Spring Song. Remember that this was 2006. I'm honestly surprised that they got away with it, and I've come to the realization that it's better when it's not sang by the characters. And seriously, out of all the songs they pick, they didn't go with April Showers, I Bring You a Song. Third place, Show Me How the World Looks. It's a very charming song and that's all I can add. Second place, There's Life. It's such a pretty opening and kind of angelic sounding. First place, We Will Be Together. The visuals takes my attention away, but the song itself is beautiful. Now thinking about it, it kind of reminds me of one of those Tinkerbell songs. So that was my Bambi 2 review. Definitely on the list for one of the better sequels, and is, honestly, kind of better than the first. I'm giving the 2006 Bambi 2 review a 7 out of 10. But guys, don't get yourself excited when I do a Cinderella 2 and 3 video. I won't give out names, but it's bad enough of it being alive when no one wants it. Fortunately, I finished the script before this one, which means I don't have to watch it again. However, I'll have to go back for visual scenes. Oh, God help me.